Okay, today we're going to warp our looms. You should have your loom painted in whatever way you did, and then this is what it will look like. So this is a radial loom, meaning it's round, and then when we weave, go over, under, and continue going around. And then you can either hang this up or set it somewhere, or you could cut off the edges and then tie two pieces, every two, could tie them together, and you can look that up online, or you can come and see me and I can help you with that. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to number the back of our loom. So we have the front. This one's not colored. I'm just using it for the demo. So we're going to number on the back. Notice this one has many holes. Some people did too many holes. So what I would suggest is maybe skipping some holes, maybe skipping especially ones that are a little bit too small, and then that will just help you to have a little bit more success. I have found that the number 11 holes or 15 holes works better than 13. 13 makes it a little tricky. There's a little extra thing you have to do at the end, and you'll have to just figure that out. But if you do it, it'll still work out. It's not that big of a deal. So let's start to do this. So this, don't panic if you have too many holes. Just skip some and make sure that you're going all the way around. So we're going to use this loom right here. This one has 11 holes, and the way we're going to know that is we're going to write in. You can use a pencil or you can use a marker. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, and 11. With 11. So now, in order for me to figure out where I'm going to start, I'm going to start at 1, but then I need my first string to come over to a magic number. And to find out that magic number, we're going to do a little bit of a math problem. We're going to figure out the number of holes that we have. So 11 is my magic number, plus 1, so that would be 12. And then divide that by 2. So this would be 12 divided by 2, which would equal 6. So 6 would be my magic number. So I'm going to start here. You don't have to write this in, and you can do this math in your head. So you're going to go start, and magic hole is here. You'll understand this when we get going. So we're going to take a string. Sometimes it'll be a little bit frayed. In order to get it through, you might have to push it through with one of these needles. Most people's holes will not be big enough to get this through, so I'll show you another way to thread it. But just to get started, I'm going to put this through. Here's number 1. I'm going to kind of push it in there and pull it out without fraying it too much. And I'm going to take some tape. You don't need a lot. Secure it down and you're good to go. That's not secure. There we go. There's semi-secured tape. I'll reinforce that later. So I'm going to come down to number 6. But in order to get the other end of this yarn through, this could be really frayed. So what I like to do is create my own kind of needle at the end. I actually learned this from a student. Put this on, go as tight as you can, and wrap it around multiple times and pinch it as you go. Just making sure that the sticky part is on the inside, and there you go. You have kind of a needle to help thread it through nice and easily. So we're going to go to 6. So I'm going to put my finger over this hole, turn it over. When I'm going from across the loom, I am going to be going from the front to the back. I'm going to go front to the back, pull it through. I have it like this. Now is when I'm going to start a pattern. So I'm going to think about, I'm going to go to my neighbor. So I'm going to go 1 higher, going to my neighbor, going from the back to the front to my neighbor, pulling it through. Oh, let's see. There we go. Pull it through. Then I'm going to make the world's smallest X. I want to go into this hole here, not this one and not this one, the smallest X. So I go to the very next hole. I go in with my handy little masking tape needle and I push it through and pull. So here you'll start to get used to this pattern. Then you're going to go next number, go to my neighbor, and pull it through. Go make an X, go to the next one, make an X. Notice that'll come here. Pull it through. Go to my neighbor and pull it through. Make my X. Go across. And you'll start to get faster at this. Pull it through. Make sure you're pulling it a little bit taut, but you don't need to pull it, you know, like crazy so it rips. Go to my neighbor. Then go across to the X. I actually cut this string a little bit too long, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer. So you will now see that we only have one hole left. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the neighbor. Now if you had 15 or 13, this is where it will get tricky, and you'll have to figure out how to get this to go back without having an entire new string across, but it won't make that big of a deal. Now I have this string floating and it has no holes to go in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to go basically straight across from my hole, and I'm going to wrap it in here. I'm just going to kind of pull it through, and you can kind of see that I want it a little bit centered. I'm going to wrap it through again, pulling it up, and this is where I kind of make my own decisions. Then if you would like to make a knot, you can hold this loop up here. You can go back through, then come back around and pull it through there, and you can knot it. Then you can begin weaving your loom. There's yarn at the table. You can pick little pieces. Keep in mind that if you run out of yarn, all you're going to do when you get to the end, you're going to take this. You can tie it like this, double knot it. You have that loop right there. You have these strings. You can cut those off. You don't need to worry about those. And then you start to go over, under, all the way around. The more colors you use, the more fun it will be. If you want to just do a black one, you may. But we're starting with the weaving with that. Enjoy. If you have any questions, come and see me.